Trey Parker Jr. Here we go with Ghostbusters.
She used to be an actress.
Did she ever do anything I would have saw?
I think her biggest deal was she starred in a pilot.
What's a pilot?
Well, you know the shows on TV?
I don't watch TV.
Yes, but you're aware that there's an invention called television, and on that invention they show shows, right?
Yeah.
Well, the way they pick the shows on TV is they make one show, and that's called a pilot. And they show that show to people who pick the shows on the strength of that one show. They decide if they want to make more shows. Some get accepted and become TV programs, some don't and become nothing. She starred in one of the ones that became nothing.
Welcome to Couch Pilots, all of my friends. It's the show that dares to fly into the unknown territory of awful television pilots of the past. My name is Jason, and with me is the man who doesn't need to be scared to be stiff. It's Captain Philip Restisher. Good evening, I love you.
Good evening, I love you too. Yeah, stiffy whiffy all the time, right? It doesn't matter if there's a ghost or a pretty lady or an ice cold beer in front of me. It's stiffy all the time.
You have a lot of hobbies have changed over the year, a lot of addictions. And you've had you've shared with us some of the fetishes you have too. I feel like there's always Blake Clayton's always ready to be stiff.
Yeah, I mean that's my life goal. Is
you ever taken a male enhancement pill?
No, never have. Never have. I there's gonna be a day.
Yeah,
there's gonna be a day, but
I don't know that you're gonna make it. I think your dick's gonna work okay.
Until
you die.
I think I'm gonna have a boner
it's gonna be soon,
in the casket. It's like not gonna shut all the way. It's like people like
ridiculous.
You obviously you're gonna be a pallbearer, right? Obviously,
yes.
And you're gonna like try to push it down to lock it so they can lock it.
Let's get some duct tape.
And it just won't go down.
That shit up.
But if you just push it like south and then put the lid down,
but who wants that job though?
Well, I would assume you would do it.
I'm going to push your dick close to your body.
No, away from my body. Well, I guess it wouldn't. Well, I'm dead.
I don't know how your erections work. Mine, when it happens, it kind of goes up. It would make sense to push it closer to towards my navel. If yours goes down,
but then everybody would see it if it was an open casket.
I think it's a medical anomaly. It goes that far up to people. Okay.
But anyway, I want to be cremated. So just so you know, I don't want to deal with all that bullshit. That's one of the reasons.
Am I going to be your pallbearer? I'm going to be like Paul Bearer from WWE. I'm going to be carrying around your urn.
You're going to actually, yeah. The urn's going to be at your house. It's going to be right next to your reel-to-reel and some medical apparatus stuff you have going on.
You just came over recently.
I did. I wanted to talk about that.
You broke the year streak.
I broke the streak. But yeah, no, you're going to need to take the urn, and you're going to, I'm assuming
that's fine. I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll take it. Once you're dead, you're not going to know what happens. So I'll just say whatever you want to hear right now, basically.
I appreciate that. That's why our relationship works so well.
We have a couple of guests I want to bring in, but real quick, I want to say that we are dancing on the edge of infinity. I think talking about your death. I think this show, I think we are very close to being done with this show. We've done it for almost 8 years. We've never set an end date. We've never said this is the end, but we are very close. I really thought today wouldn't happen. What about you?
No, I was confident. I was confident it was going to happen.
It would have been fine if it ended last time. It was like when the Beatles released Let It Be last, but they recorded it earlier. Like Matt would have been our last released episode, but the last episode we recorded would have been with my daughter. It would have been like the perfect ending,
Oh, let's just turn it off now.
No, I know. I'll keep going, but like I really thought that we were done. I really thought that was going to be it.
Well, I'm sorry that you felt that way.
I don't want it to be that way.
I know you don't.
Sometimes I just have to look reality right in the face. Give it a big old kiss.
That was not my intention.
All right, we didn't bring these guys here for them to listen to us talk. Let's bring them in. You don't want to introduce them. You don't know what's going on. All right. There's two guys. One I've been hanging out with a lot lately. The other guy is someone I've known for a little bit, but I haven't known him very well. But I want to get to know him.
Yeah, and I've been drunk around him. I know that. I've been drunk around him.
Well, I think that's if you've met a person. That's been the case. All right, let's welcome to the show returning champion Bryan and new friend Wes.
Whoop, whoop.
Hello.
It was actually on my time hop today. They were recording. It was the first episode of Heel versus Face, so that was kind of cool that you played that.
Thank you very much. Nice. Well, congratulations. Hey, guys.
Another
welcome.
great podcast that never went anywhere.
Another podcast that I said, hey, I'll come help you do it. And you're like, nope.
I don't think it was nope.
Wes, you've never been in the captain's lounge, is it? Where it's a basement. We're in a basement.
Yeah, first time.
First impressions?
Yeah, it's definitely a basement, and there's some lounging.
Blake, can you take your headphones off for a second?
Does it look like I live down here? When you walked by it didn't look like I lived down here, right?
Well, I mean, I tripped over several piss jugs on the way in, but I don't know if that's
all right. Well,
just a normal thing. Or
did I tell you to put your blankie over your piss jugs?
I was told to make sure it didn't look like I was living down here.
So I was told that the piss jugs were to be cleaned up before I got here.
Or you can take one with you on the way out.
I'll sign it. I'll go ahead and sign it for you.
Yeah.
So we have some lovely parting gifts.
Yeah,
That's excellent.
nice consolation prize.
Yeah.
We still have first-time guests on the show with Wes. We've been doing it for 7-8 years, and Wes is a first-time guest. We always like to have new guests here because sometimes our old guests suck, right?
Yeah, we do.
Bryan is usually on the show with a person who is not here today.
Unless this is some weird trap.
Yeah.
I'd open the door to the closet and be like, surprise!
Yeah.
Is that Chris Hansen over there?
Yeah.
He was always the sexiest of the Hanson brothers, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was.
Ooh, God, he was good.
Well, and he,
weird.
and his job was, for good, not evil, like the other Hansons. They were just playing crappy music. He was trying to,
How dare you? Bop was the sound of a generation.
well, but not letting little girls get fucked by men
Good Lord.
that's something to be proud of.
I remember when, I think I've told this on the show before, but I remember when Hanson was showing on MTV, I was like, oh, MTV's being funny. MTV's playing a joke right now. Wasn't a joke at all. It was the biggest fucking thing that ever happened on that channel. Holy shit. All right, so usually when Bryan comes, he comes with Amanda, but he's not here with her anymore. So we had Tim on that one time, and then a few weeks later, Tim says, I'm getting a divorce.
Right, and then we had Bryan and Amanda on.
Yeah.
And then
something happened.
something.
A couple months later, we got a divorce.
Yeah.
So we need to schedule Molly pretty soon. Then.
Oh, you should. Trying to
just in case.
Trying to dissolve your own nuptials.
No, I'm not trying. Just if the pattern works.
Yeah. I'm sorry you got a divorce, Bryan.
Yeah, well, so am I.
We always liked having both of you guys on. It was great because Blake would flirt with your then wife, and then I would flirt with you.
Definitely was not a cause of our divorce or anything.
But I would always flirt with you, though. I was trying to even it out.
Yeah.
But I'd pretend like it was because I was trying to even it out, not because of something else.
I don't think I consider hand jobs flirting, though.
Well, I think that it for me to defend myself, obviously, because you just threw me under the bus in front of everybody. But
what did I do?
To defend myself, when you have two other people on the show, each of us, we're co-hosts, you have to migrate and kind of walk with one of the guests, and it just worked out that.
But you always gravitate towards ladies when they're on, right? I'm not throwing you under the bus. I'm just stating what.
But it wasn't for inappropriate reasons.
No, you were never inappropriate.
Okay, well, you made it sound like
I said you were flirting.
Jason, I mean, come on. He's a renowned pussy hound. You can't just turn that off.
Renowned pussy
true.
hound.
That's true.
Hashtag renowned pussy hound.
Tim will come back on after his divorce, and we grill him about going out on dates, and he says, "I'm not worth anything, but my Tesla is," And so that's how he gets all his ladies. Do you have a plan of attack now that you're a single guy, Bryan?
The only thing I got to show off is my DVD collection, and that's not doing me much work.
Do you have a dating profile out there?
Yeah.
Is the DVD
No.
collection featured on it?
Maybe you should put take the selfie with the DVD collection behind you.
Yeah.
That's what I have.
Oh,
Has not worked. But I try to counterbalance it because I put a picture of me and my dog
that's
as well.
good. That's
that is good
She's
strategy.
adorable.
that dog is going to
So-
that dog is the one that's going to get you later.
Did you get both copies of Evil Dead in the picture, or just one?
Maybe just one. Maybe that's the problem.
Okay, I don't want to throw
We gotta
stones.
balance it out.
I don't want to throw you to the bus like I just did Blake, but
Was it the special edition or was it just the?
The Book of the Dead, the latex. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm out of ideas.
Yeah. No, she said.
Wes is like, I'm happily married. Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Well, for now.
mean, look-
I mean, now that I'm on this show, I mean,
Yeah,
make it sound like something might happen.
Your
it's
days
like
are
the
numbered.
ring.
Yeah.
We keep passing it along to other people.
Yeah. If you work hard enough, you can get divorced too.
I would also like to subscribe to your newsletter.
So
No, she said over my dead body. She's like, I'm going to do that Utopia show with Blake, and I'm like, no, you're not. And irreconcilable differences.
I
popped
feel like
right up.
the door is really closed on doing that show now.
We could not find episode 1 or 2. That's what.
You have to
Couldn't find it.
improvise or like fan fiction that. It is weird. Did you ever watch that show, Wes? Utopia?
No.
There's a failed Fox show about a group of people trying to create a utopia, a little society.
I think I remember seeing ads for it, but I don't think I ever watched it.
It was amazing.
Blake loved it, not knowing that at the same time Amanda loved it. And there
Okay.
was a talk, let's do a limited run series about that show. And we just couldn't get it together. Just couldn't make it happen for whatever reason.
Someday it'll pop up in my feed.
And I just kept
I'm just
going.
going to hate listen the whole time.
And every time they would leave from doing the show, I would text Brian and go, I don't want to do this show. Can you just get rid of her? And finally, he was like, all right, fine.
Well, let me work my wiles by just being me. And the problem will take care of itself.
Yeah.
Playing a long game.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So no plans, because I feel like when Tim got divorced, he's like, first of all, I'm the happiest guy that's ever lived now.
Yeah.
And I have this Tesla, which means that I can get a very specific kind of lady, but they are ladies technically.
Yeah.
And he did do that. You don't have any kind of that plan or anything positive come out of this? I guess I want to ask.
Some fun stories.
Can you give us one?
Well, I was talking to some lady, and things seem to be going all right. I was just telling my friend Tim Fluga about this last night.
Do you know this story, Wes?
He does not.
I don't think I've heard this one.
All right.
So I was talking with her. Everything seemed to be going all right. Some red flags showing up on her end. But I'm like, you know what? For 3 months, I could probably deal with it. And then just be like, I can't deal with this. Get the fuck out.
Isn't that my strategy, Blake? 4 or 5 weeks of a lot of fun, and then
Well,
maybe like 6-7 months of
I actually heard a
horror.
podcast today where they said, like, with your brain chemistry, when you're with someone for 3 months, 3 months is kind of like where you start to actually see stuff, like red flags, like you said.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, it's ironic because
You're so blinded by love and lust and euphoria in the beginning
Sure.
that all the little intricacies of their
are
flaw
blind.
stuff.
Yeah, you're blind to it.
Yeah.
Well, I just thought I could have sex for 3 months.
There you go.
And then just bolt.
3 months straight. Fucking Sting over
Yeah,
here.
right?
Jesus Christ.
Tantric, baby. So we were talking, and she was like, well, we should talk on the phone. And I was like, sure. And so I'm like, well, here's my phone number. I said, we can talk on the phone whenever you want. And her exact response was, I'll quote you on that. I take that as a challenge. And then her...
She's a listener to your podcast.
And this is like two days after talking back and forth. And then her final response was, I'm going to call you while you're eating my pussy and talk on the phone.
Okay.
To which then I said, challenge accepted.
There you go.
And we're waiting for a response.
Let's smell your breath.
Right?
Pass your breath around.
Why is your bill of your hat wet?
Right?
Jeez, I think you're doing it wrong.
Right.
Sticking your bill. Ooh.
What a
So-
weird use of anytime minutes.
So we didn't get a chance to talk very much. Like, she works like second shift on the weekends or something. And we were
Right.
just like texting back and forth. And she wouldn't tell me where she worked. Red flag number one.
I mean, it's still, she's got to be safe nowadays.
She's like, I'm going to try to call you, but don't be worried. My number will come up as blocked.
Yeah.
like,
I would
all
say
right.
they're fuchsia flags.
I would say that when you answer the phone, there's a very deep voice on the other side of it.
She did know local stuff. Like, she had a picture of something local. I mentioned it, and she's like, oh, yeah. So she knew stuff from Peoria. So I at least knew she was from the area. It wasn't
Not a robot.
not some dude in Russia, like, you
Right.
know, yes, you very sexy.
I love Richard Pryor.
So she said she was going to call me. And so I'm like, okay. And then she texts me back. She's like, voicemail, really? And I'm like, my phone never rang. So I thought about it. I'm like, oh, shit. I was getting so many robocalls. I turned on the feature that if it
'Cause it
doesn't
came
have
up
a
blocked.
number,
Sure.
it'll just skip it. So I'm trying to, like, undo it. And then she's like, well, I got to go to work. And I'm like, ah, fuck.
And this was like days or like recently, like within hours?
This was in January. So this is what happened.
Oh,
So I'm saying this happened over like 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
But I'm saying this isn't like a recent
Okay.
adventure for me. So the next morning she texts me and she's like, hey, I just want to let you know, if you're going to ask me out, your window is open for it. And I'm like, oh, I thought you wanted to talk on the phone first. And she's like, oh, you're right, I do.
Thanks for reminding me.
Right, yeah. And so I'm trying to set something up, and I'm like, but, we can go out. The next day was her day off, and I'm like, where do you want to go? And she's like, I don't know, think of something. I'm like, okay. And she's like, by the way, COVID still has me really freaked out, so no enclosed public places.
Mm-hmm. And what's the temperature outside?
Well, that's the other part. And I'm like, well, it was 18 yesterday, So I'm just like, that kind of stunts my creativity. And she's like, oh, no, you're not creative about stuff? And I'm like, I didn't say that. I just said it stunts my creativity, to which then she replied, I can read. And I was like, oh.
Hey, lady, I'm only giving you 8 more chances not to be nuts.
Right?
That's what I would say.
10 more, and then I'm out for sure. And then I was like, this would be a lot easier if it wasn't like freezing out.
Yeah.
So then I go and I'm looking for places for us to go the next day to do something.
Right.
I get, ding. Oh, she sent me a message on the app. Open it up. Entire conversation's gone. Been blocked.
Poof.
Oh. Yeah. You know what? You know what? You're fine. It's
And right after you had reserved that third heat lamp down there in front of the river,
right.
near the Riverplex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Blake, I don't know about you, man, but bitches be crazy.
They
Don't I always say that?
Bitches be crazy. Hashtag bitches be crazy.
Last lady I had a crush on committed suicide, so I'm not trying to one-up you, but
That is the primo
that's
story.
the ultimate block right
That's
there.
the bar I try to reach.
Yeah.
I'm
So.
like, have I convinced someone to kill themselves yet? Because
I never really thought it was my fault, but who knows?
it wasn't,
Maybe
but
it
I'm
was.
saying that's what it would take to top that bar.
Yeah,
It's like,
you're right.
what if I was the one who
Right.
convinced themselves, like, these are the type
But
of
you have to
men
get-
I have hitting on me? Fuck
But now you have to get it. You have to get it in writing now, though. I mean,
Yeah.
the suicide letter has to have your name in it.
And Wes is a notary, so I can have him notarize.
Yeah, I can notarize it. Yeah.
What's the last thing you notarized?
A power of attorney.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was going to say probably my divorce papers.
Oh, did you do that too?
Yeah, I did do that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
You're a good friend.
well, I mean, legally I have to. So
If somebody asks you to notarize something, are you obligated to have to do it?
not necessarily. But
if they slip you
I
a
can't
10?
notarize anything that's been like handwritten.
Sure.
Because obviously it could be changed and whatnot.
Right.
But if it's typed up and it's official, absolutely. So
Is
You're
there
not like a doctor, like you have an oath, like if someone's injured in front of you.
there
you
is
know,
a
Notarized
there
no
is
harm.
a notarial oath, but
Oh.
I never had to go down and swear in front of Jesse White for it or anything.
what about his tumblers? Have you ever swear in front of his Jesse White tumblers?
No, I didn't get the invite to that either.
Have you guys seen the Jesse White tumblers before?
No.
It's a group of children that come out during
shows.
timeouts during basketball games and literally do like crazy tumbling. I had to swear an oath in
Are
front of
they
them
are
once.
they dressed like Jesse White?
They're all dressed like Jesse White,
Okay.
head to toe.
Business suit.
Okay.
That's what makes it even
Yeah.
more impressive.
Yeah, yeah. Have to be some flexible material on those suits.
It is.
I've got a lot of issues with Jesse White right now.
Gore-Tex. What's that?
No.
Jesse White? You and Jesse White got problems? All right. Well, we met Wes from the old Peoria Podcast Alliance
Sure.
meetings that we used to do. And you were doing, I think, a show back then called Graveyard Duck.
That's right. Yeah.
It's about old school, mainly NES games. Is that right?
A little bit of everything. We did just mostly blanket type retro game coverage.
and you're not doing that show anymore.
No,
Did
it's
your
kind of
did your co-host flake out on you?
kind of
Okay.
kind of yeah.
Okay.
So I'm still toying with the idea of bringing it back somehow, but I
Yeah.
just haven't quite worked it out yet as far as what the niche is. But yeah, so basically it was just kind of a nostalgic show of talking about games that we enjoyed and kind of a deep dive into them.
Well, the thing I liked about your show was it wasn't necessarily like a review of what the game was. It was more of like, this came out in 1986. I was 6 at the time. So let's go back there in our minds.
That's a dumb saying. I like that.
It's stupid, right? You should trademark it. And
Do it.
talk about like kind of what we were going through like at the time.
Yeah.
Sort of more of like a biological review or
cool.
biographical review.
Yeah. That was what was more interesting to me because like I listen to a lot of those type of shows and so many of them are just surface level, hey, I just copied this from Wikipedia
Yes.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm more interested in the story of it, or like, you know, like, because we all grew up playing different games and things that we enjoyed. So everyone's going to have different nostalgia. But I'm more interested in like, okay, what did you have growing up? You know, tell me your experience with it, kind of thing.
Sure.
So
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
So that's kind of the angle I'm looking at. But
A personal angle.
exactly,
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. Because
What about that new? There's a Tetris movie coming out. I'm sure you're aware of it.
I haven't watched the trailer yet for it.
Yeah.
Seems a little odd.
Well, I was going to say, is that something that you would be interested in that vein of what you were doing before? But you said you haven't seen the trailer. I think that it's mainly like a kind of a steroid pumped up version of how it was made, how it came to be, and ultimately how it is it still to this day like the #1 game of all time?
I doubt it. I mean,
Okay.
it's hard to tell on some of those things, and it's weird too because like something like that, you know, you're talking about a game that was made in like Soviet era Russia, in which the state kind of owned the rights to it at the time. So like it's sort of a dubious area as to like, you know, who owned the rights at the time and who got paid, and
Right.
you know, a lot of weird stuff. So I'm hoping that the movie, is it a movie or is it a show?
It's a I think it's a movie.
Is it a movie?
Yeah, it's a
okay.
movie.
I'm hoping that they kind of talk about that because it is kind of interesting, but who knows?
Yeah. From what I understand, that's the entire thing. It's
Right.
the crazy story of how it was brought to America. And
Right. Yeah.
Because apparently it's a crazy situation.
You ever play Tetris before, Blake?
Yeah, I have. And then I played it as a kid, obviously. And then when we got we got like a Tetris like lookalike game recently, not recently, but when we first got the whatever PlayStation that is in there.
Right.
Yeah, so but it was, you know, you could go against each other and stuff, but it was called something else, but it was the same. You know, there's 6 different kinds of blocks, and
It was ported to like every console, every
Sure.
handheld
Right.
console for like generations.
way to go, Putin! Right? I mean, that guy's a smart guy.
It's good.
He's good.
Yeah. He's good. All right.
Oh yeah.
Probably would have been Gorbachev at the
I
time.
think
Oh.
so.
Yeah.
Well, fuck that joke then.
When that thing exploded on his head, it looked like Tetris
Oh.
blocks falling, and that's where they got the idea. I
mean,
don't
Well, I
want to.
thought Leslie Nielsen wiped it off in the beginning of Naked Gun, though. So
Is he still alive?
no,
Leslie Nielsen?
Oh, bummer.
Gorbachev?
Yeah, Gorbachev.
Gorbachev is Leslie Nielsen, isn't it?
No, this,
I
So
thought
that's kinda
Mikhail Gorbachev just died. Did he not?
Did he?
Maybe he's still alive.
Does anybody have a computer in their pocket?
let's find out.
I don't know.
We're going to move on to the next segment while you're looking that up. But secretly, Brian's divorce may have been the best thing that ever happened to me because I get to spend more time with Brian now.
That's all. I mean,
So,
you have to look at it half full, not half empty.
right.
He died on August 30th, 2022.
Okay, so you saw us here. I thought it was recently. Anyway, he's a great leader as far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned.
yeah, I'm bugging Jason all the time now.
That's good.
I don't mind it at all.
We had a movie date on Friday.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captains have turned on the fasten seatbelt sign.
We saw Cocaine Bear.
Okay,
It's exactly
what'd
what
you
you think it is.
I'll tell you what.
Was awesome.
Elizabeth Banks directed it.
Correct.
I heard an interview with her the other day
With Conan O'Brien.
with Conan O'Brien, and I'm interested in seeing it. I don't watch movies. Brian, you know me well.
I know.
I don't watch movies.
One time he came over to my house and I opened up the door and went, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
Yeah, exactly. But I am interested in seeing it
yeah.
for sure.
I don't know. It's pretty bloody. I mean, it's a bear and cocaine. What else?
Hey.
Hopefully you expect it to be
It's
bloody.
Right,
action.
right,
It's
no.
would you even call it horror? It's a horror
I don't
comedy,
know.
right?
It's I'd say like more of an action comedy.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you want to see it too, Wes?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the trailer was amazing.
I'm just gonna wait
I'm
for
hoping that the full movie was as good. So,
Brian's gonna get it on DVD, and I'll go to his house.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I read it had like a $30 to $35 million budget, and I think it's only made just under 30 so far. I think it'll do it. Because isn't it double whatever the budget is usually start making money because after
Usually.
advertising and stuff, right?
Usually, but everybody's been saying it's actually made more money this weekend than everybody thought it was going to. So it's ahead of what the predictions were.
Oh, okay.
for it.
Well, maybe
So-
maybe I saw I was incorrect then.
but how much of their budget went towards cocaine?
That's a great question.
It's expensive. It's
Well,
expensive.
I mean,
Yeah.
Ray Liotta was in it, so
Okay. Yeah.
Well, with El Chapo being in jail and his son almost getting arrested, I can understand where the price of cocaine would get super high.
That is the most knowledgeable you've been about current day events that I have ever witnessed in my life.
We just don't talk about the stuff that I know about.
There was a tonal shift in this show.
So we need to talk about cocaine more, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I really keep up on the cocaine.
You've
biz.
never
Yeah,
done
yeah.
cocaine, right? Like,
No, God no. No, my heart would explode the first time.
Yeah, I think mine would too at this point if I tried cocaine.
Oh, mine would.
That's why I never
I have
did.
no interest.
I never did any hard drugs. I had an incident with Epiderm when I was in in high school, and Epiderm was trucker speed where you could buy at the gas station.
Yeah.
And which was on the scale of like drugs. That's like down here at the bottom. And yeah, I was like, anything above marijuana or alcohol, I'll die like instantly. So
At least you know that about yourself.
I've been trying to get some fentanyl, and I can't. Nobody seems to want to give it to me. So.
All right, well, today we discussed the pilot episode of Scared Stiff from the year of our Lord, 1900 add 71. Now, that was a great year.
1971, I was negative 4 years old. That would make Jason negative 10 years old.
That's right. I'm so rarely the youngest guy in the room anymore. I think I'm... How old are you, Wes, can I ask?
45.
Okay, thank
Born
God.
in
I'm the
77.
youngest guy.
So in 1971, how old were you, Wes?
-6.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
-8.
Nice.
It's just good math. Yeah. All right.
You know what? If anything, people can get out of this show is we are very good at math.
Maybe.
I mean,
Hey.
it took us 2 hours to run these equations before we started recording. I don't
Right.
know if we're good.
Well, whenever we
I
have people,
broke this abacus thrice.
whenever we have
Stupid
people on the
abacus.
show, we're like about 2 weeks before. We're like, okay, here's the formula. Put your date of birth in.
Right.
Here's the year the show came out. Do the math and have it right before you get here.
That's the only thing we ask. You don't even have to watch the pilot. Just know your age in terms of the pilot's release.
Well, I had to give my social and my online banking logins.
Well, that's for different.
That's for
stuff.
Blake's baking app.
Okay, because I've been seeing some weird charges, so I don't know.
All brownies and cookies.
A lot of weird OnlyFans charges.
I keep telling you, Blake, I'll give you the password for free. You don't have to subscribe to my OnlyFans. All right?
Well,
I step on a lot of cakes.
because I'm really into.
Oh, okay. Do
I
you fart on them too?
That's a separate thing, but yes.
Okay.
The short answer is yes.
You need the Patreon for that.
Yeah, well, it's $10 a month.
Do you do it in bobby socks?
No.
Oh,
the whole
man.
thing is they want to see it ooze through your toes. That's the thing. Bobby Socks blocks that.
Well, I thought it was like blueberry pie or something. You
I
could
like
see
the
it
Bobby
soak
sock
up through
block.
the socks.
Bobby sock block I'd be into.
Can you get those socks that have
Scared
like
stiff.
the cutouts for the toes in them? And like a Bobby Socks version of that?
That's actually a very smart question, to which I don't know the answer.
Okay.
I
Well,
wish I
patent
did.
pending. I'm going to
Blake,
those.
can you?
You should.
You'll know.
I'd rather look at the whole Bobby sock than see toes. It's just me.
It's a real fetish. She's not making that up.
Thewholebobbysock.com.
Yeah.
Ooh, God, I gotta buy that tomorrow.
I already bought it.
Oh, damn.
Let's talk about some highlights of things that happened back in 1971. I'll steal a phrase from Brian here and say we'll go back there in our minds. And to do so, we'll talk about some stuff that happened so we can judge this pilot based on when it was made rather than today's standards, because to do that, it would be uncivilized.
Right. So, Wes, you've never been on the show before, but we can't judge this pilot from 1971 based on today's standards.
Right.
I mean, there are things that we have today that we didn't have in 1971, and so it's not fair. Just off the top of my head, I would say a white NBA dunk champion. We didn't have that in 1971.
Right. It was only Julius Irving.
Right. In 1971, we didn't have eggs that cost almost $10 a dozen. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
And we didn't have Band-Aids. And it's important to know those things as you're looking at this pilot.
We didn't have Band-Aids?
No. 1971, we did not have
He's right.
Band-Aids.
He's right
No
about
shit.
Yeah. It's a little known fact that people
Are
don't know.
eggs the new cigarettes?
No, eggs are the new milk and bread when there's a storm coming.
Yeah.
Do you eat a lot of eggs, Wes?
I mean, occasionally, but I wouldn't say I eat like a lot of them.
How do you get your protein?
Well, typically, I get it shipped in from
Shooting
various
to come in my
countries.
own mouth.
Jesus Christ! Sorry.
They arrive in unmarked boxes, and I don't ask a lot of questions.
Okay, I'm sorry to ask the question.
No, you're fine.
Cigarettes, $1,000 a box. Eggs, the same. They're both white. They both have filters on them. I don't know.
Eggs have filters?
The ones I buy do.
Are they in the inside or outside? You know, the other night, Molly made scrambled eggs, and she does a really good job with scrambled eggs. But I never watch her do it, right? Because I don't care about what's going on in
Did
life.
you taste the poison in it?
And I walk in there, and I'm like, hey, you didn't take the sperm out of these eggs. I'm not going to eat scrambled eggs with sperm in them. You do that, right? You crack it open. There's the little white, like, the spermicide. I'm like, no.
The albumin.
And I said, get out of my fucking house.
Is that the albumin? Is that what he's talking about?
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
I mean, I eat pterodactyl eggs, so I don't know what.
That's
what's in
unmarked.
there.
Ooh, how expensive are those?
If you have to ask, you can't afford them.
That's a good
There's
point.
a lot of things I can't afford right now.
I was crack an egg open. I just put all the contents into a thing to make sure it's
Yeah.
not like rotten or bloody, and then I transfer it to the thing that I want to, mix it in or cook it. And as long as there's no shells in there, I think, or like blood or whatever, I think we're good to go. What's the part you don't want to eat?
Well, it's that little circle, cloudy clump of like white stuff. That's like the
You think that's load? Is that what you think? You think that's egg load?
well, yeah. How else will eggs get made?
You just cook it and eat it.
I did.
You did? You did?
Yeah, I was starving.
fucking Blake's in there with like beakers and shit, trying to like get the perfect consistency.
Got goggles on, trying to.
Oh, I never wear goggles.
He likes it shot right. in
It's
his
Yeah,
so
you don't
dis-
want that stuff to just fly up,
It's
Right.
so disgusting to you, but then you say I instantly ate it. Sounds
Well.
right. From what I know about you, sounds.
When you haven't had a meal in a couple days, you'll take what you get.
March 5th in Belfast, a Led Zeppelin show includes the first public performance of Stairway to Heaven, a song from the band's fourth album. Has a band other than Led Zeppelin ever left more money on the table? That's the thing that always bothers me about a band that like breaks up too soon or something, or like never gets back together. And they say there's like $200 million over there. We're just gonna leave it there, and then we're never gonna do anything about it.
But they feel like they don't need money.
Maybe.
Were they just not into?
They just
it
didn't
for
like
the money?
they hated each other so much that they didn't even.
Was that the case with
Yeah,
Led Zeppelin?
no,
They
yeah.
hated each other.
Yeah, and I think it's like Pink Floyd is the same way. I mean, they hated it. They still to this day hate each other.
So it's kind of like Fleetwood Mac, like they were all dating each other, and then Rumors hits big, and then for the next 30 years they're all singing about their breakups with each other from like
Yeah, they had
40
yeah,
years ago,
right?
Yeah,
But they were still cashing checks for a long time. Right?
true,
Sure.
yeah.
One of them had to die to get out of the situation. She just died recently. The piano player.
Christine
Christy
McVie.
McVie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the ugly one.
Yeah. Is that how you knew her? That's nice.
Yeah.
But like Guns N' Roses and like
Def Leppard.
well, Def Leppard never got back. I feel like
No,
they had to.
no. Guns N' Roses got back together. Though.
But there was a long period. There's like 10 years where it's
because they were all they were either in rehab or dead.
that just bothers me. Like knowing that I have to go like eat $1.99 can of sardines for dinner, and these guys are just like leaving hundreds of $1 million on the table.
Where are you getting $2 sardines?
Hy-Vee?
Oh, okay.
What do you? Where
He's
do you
got a
get your
punch
sardines?
card.
I get the Louisiana hot sauce ones from Big Lots, but they're about $3.99.
Oh, you're overpaying.
Yeah, yeah. I'm starting to realize.
I go for the 50-cent Aldi ones.
Oh my God, that's just dangerous. It's all spine.
Yeah.
Just a series of spine. Yeah.
Sardines have spines.
Hell yeah.
Wes gets them at the Hy-Vee gas station.
Oh yeah.
Your finest sardines, sir.
Yep. Yeah, they've just been turning next to the hot dogs all day.
Oh my God.
Eyes are popping out.
You don't eat
all
sardines,
dried up
right?
and wrinkly.
You would never eat a sardine in your
No,
life.
God no. God no.
You kidding me?
There's certain chicken fingers he sticks his nose in.
Yeah.
Hey, March 8th, fight of the century of the century, boxer Joe Frazier defeats Muhammad Ali in a 15-round unanimous decision at Madison Square Garden. Do you think that you could have beaten Muhammad Ali in a fight,
Yeah.
Brian?
Instantly.
What would be your strategy?
My strategy would be I'm just going to hold my fist out, and he's going to run at me and just run right into it. And I'm suddenly world champion. Don't even need to train
Makes
for that.
sense.
I think I could have beaten Muhammad Ali in a fight, but just right at the end there.
Laying on his deathbed, you just run in. You're like,
Yeah.
Oh, toward the end of his life. Not,
Oh, yeah.
Not the end of the match.
No.
Oh, okay.
On his literal deathbed.
Yeah.
When he was shaking so bad, his hands were shaking so bad.
Look, he's still the champ. Okay, I still would have beaten the champ.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, I'm the champ.
I'm a champ, bitch.
March 29th, a Los Angeles jury recommends the death penalty for Charles Manson and female followers Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Leslie Van Houten, which I think was the last name of the guy from The Simpsons, wasn't
Millhouse.
it? Millhouse.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was on purpose or not.
Possibly.
Everything on The Simpsons is on purpose.
Yeah, they predicted everything.
Wes, death penalty, yes or no?
It depends.
Yeah, that's the right. That's the right
Yeah.
answer. That's the right answer.
Yeah.
Some people are like blind to it, just like no matter what. No, it's like, you probably kill a couple guys.
Yeah.
Mine's yes.
Yes on the death penalty.
Yeah.
Penalty? Yeah. I think so too. I think it depends, but yeah, sometimes you got to kill a guy.
But it, unfortunately, it's a corporation, not that's why they don't die.
Sometimes it costs too much money to keep someone in jail, and you just kill them instead, right?
Right. Hopefully.
All right, that's I'm back in 1971.
Something just happened.
Hey, Wes, I'm sure you know. Do you know why we chose to watch Scared Stiff?
I have no idea. And after watching it, I still have no idea.
I'll play some music real quick. Do you want to take a guess? The answer can be no. You don't have to take a guess either. There's 3 reasons.
3 reasons? Yeah, I'm going to have to pass. I have no idea.
Brian, do you want to steal? Steal for the win, Brian?
It was a failed pilot. Whether it actually aired or not is irrelevant. It was free.
All right.
And it's available on the internet.
I like how you threw a little Miley Cyrus in there.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it does it just for you.
That literally means the world to me. Thank you.
What would happen if Miley Cyrus was wearing bobby socks?
Ooh,
would your head
boy.
explode?
Everything in my
Would your penis explode?
my penis, my head, everything would explode.
Gross.
But I would have to be there.
And yeah, you'd have
in the room.
I couldn't just watch a video of it. It wouldn't mean as much. But if I was there,
But you would watch a video of it.
oh no, I would. My head wouldn't explode then if it was a video.
You just want to be there eating eggs while she's doing her thing.
yeah.
Egg loads after egg load.
Yeah.
There's some stuff I would be doing while she was walking around with bobby socks on.
Using the egg loads to.
I'll say it's a good natural organic lubricant, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, egg whites.
Brian was right, by the way,
Yep.
about all the 3 things.
Oh no, he was perfect.
I don't know if you made note of that or not. Probably not.
I didn't make notes.
I did better.
I didn't know I was supposed to take notes.
No, absolutely not. You can find the
Well,
entire.
there's a pen
What's
and a legal pad right there next to you.
Yeah. I didn't know that's what it was for. I've been just drawing turkeys with my hand.
Oh,
That's not a turkey,
I was
that's a
gonna say,
dick.
I was gonna say that looked like a turkey to me.
Oh, I swear it's 5 turkeys.
Hey, you can find the entire episode of Scared Stiff by subscribing to Couch Pilots and SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then simply click on one of our passionately fuchsia links in our show notes, or go to YouTube. Wes? Thanks for being here.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.
I have really got to start going to the bathroom before we get to this point.
Like a baby does.
Maybe you just need a catheter.
Oh,
You don't even have to get up.
Why don't you just get one of your piss jugs out of here?
Yeah.
Well, they're looking pretty full. I don't know if he needs to add it.
Exactly.
Just top them off.
Just top them off, like hold the stream. Just
Do that thing where you fill it up, and then, like, because of the surface tension, like, it can just bubble over
It
a
domes
little bit
over.
but not spill.
Domes
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, just do that. Just do exactly that.
And then the Great Danes come down the stairs and just knock them all down.
Yeah. Does Molly have to play the guessing game? Like, is this piss or is this sun tea?
No, she's
Is your piss that
She
dark?
just assumes it's all piss.
I think you're really...
I mean, dehydrated.
turn it off. I think you're really sick.
I
man.
am.
God damn.
Yeah.
Why is there stuff floating in it?
Why is it chunky?
You pissing pulp, buddy?
Why did it piss in the sun tea jar? It's got suns on the front
That's
of it.
true.
It's for tea.
Yeah, don't do that. There's got to be a better way.
Clearly mark it.
Hey, summary of the pilot. This Gary Marshall production starred TV funnyman Bob Denver and Warren Berlinger as bumbling ghost-busting detectives. Hey, remember that song I played up front?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, that's what that meant.
It's a song called Bustin'. Have you guys heard that version of it before? It's
I've never heard that. I felt it was the remix or something.
It's just changed enough where the guy can't be sued, but
Yeah.
I don't think he purposefully isn't making any money. I've listened to that song conservatively 250 times. I love it.
Is it by a Ray Porker Jr.?
Well, that is funny, but no, unfortunately, it's not. It's actually a guy who. There's this other Ernest podcast. I do an Ernest podcast, like a crazy guy. But there's another Ernest podcast. It's like called The Wheel of Ernest, where they would spin this wheel and then like watch. Anyway, one of those guys made that bustin' video just by a complete happenstance.
Are you guys rivals? Do you like
No,
hate
we
each
love
other?
It's a family. It's a family. It's a
Have you ever
family.
talk shit on their Twitter?
I do fucking hate them, but it is a family.
Yeah, there could be some right drama for, 2 competing Ernest podcasts.
Right, yeah.
I would like to do a podcast on competing Ernest podcasts.
Sure.
They show up at the Ernest convention, like they walk down the hall and meet in the middle, and there's like,
And they
what
just
are you
they
doing
start
here?
they start going.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there is an Ernest Day is what it's called,
Yeah.
and I'll be going for the 3rd time this summer. So
Nice.
I don't know.
You got a costume?
What does shame look like? No, I don't.
Ah.
No.
Yeah.
I just show up as
What
the.
would be your costume?
a slightly obese podcaster. I think is.
I don't remember Ernest playing that.
No, it's
Unless it was the old woman with the neck brace.
Yeah, I'm Aunt Nelda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that her name?
Oh yeah, Auntie Nelda. Yeah, I know.
If anybody would know, Jason would know.
I fucking know it.
He came over and he saw the library for the first time. Gravitated right to the Ernest Ernest DVDs I had.
It glowed.
Yeah?
And I just went towards it, and I was like, if I had this set up this way, I'd put it in my dating profile.
Yeah. I do have I still have the VHS from back in the day of the Ernest P. Worrell Film Fest, which is all of his commercials.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
The
you got
Mellow
that.
Yellow commercials, the convenient commercials. I mean...
Okay, since Blake left the room, let's do a small Ernest dive here. So you know he did commercials, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I grew up watching those.
How many commercials do you think he made?
It's got to be hundreds. I mean...
What if I told you it was 4,000?
Holy shit. Are you serious?
I think what they did is they had like 60 ideas, and then they just did those over and over for different regional products.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It seems like it was a very specific, like, Midwestern regional thing, like, growing up.
Yes, just small local markets that would hire them and do these. And I think they would literally do like 10, 15 commercials a day when they were rolling.
Yeah.
So anyway, my knowledge goes much deeper than that. I am not going to get into any further, because that's not what this show is. This show is more based around what I'd consider interesting facts.
Are we doing Gilligan trivia?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Interesting Facts. This is the part of the show where Jason has scoured the internet to find facts about this show that you may not know. All we ask is that you don't taint someone else's experience and comment on these facts. You can have an opinion, but don't comment on the facts.
Thank you, Blake.
Thank you.
Great job. How's your pee?
Warm?
Do you want me to remind you before the next show to go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Hey, interesting facts. Produced for CBS, who passed on it for their 1971-1972 schedule and was never telecast. Fact. Directed by Jerry Paris, you may know him as the director of such projects as Happy Days, The Dick Van Dyke Show, Police Academy 2 and 3, as well as the pilot of our May 13th, 2019 episode of this very show called Beans of Boston, which I think was a playoff of a British. There's a British version.
Okay.
You remember Beans of Boston? It was set in like a department store.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It was like a high-end one. There was like multiple. There was an elevator. There was an elevator.
There
Yeah.
you go. Hey, stars Bob Denver as Henderson. You most likely know Bob from the many loves of Dobie Gillis. And I will say this: I looked into that show a little bit. Pretty handsome. When he was a young guy, like you think about him, he's like, that's a goofy-looking motherfucker. Pretty handsome guy during the days of Dobie Gillis. He was also in The Good Guys, and of course playing the role of Gilligan on Gilligan's Island for well over 85 years. Fact.
A whole show named after him.
Also stars Warren Berlinger as Austin. You probably know him from The Cannonball Run, The World According to Garp, and The Long Goodbye. Fact.
I remember The World According to Garp. For some reason, I remember that show, and did it have Robin Williams in it, right?
I don't know the answer to that. I never saw it.
Maybe.
There was something about that show that scarred me somehow. So I'm going to look that up. But yeah, I remember watching that.
So The World According to Garp would just be another little puzzle into your psyche that we've been slowly constructing over the past 8 years.
It is Robin Williams.
Thank you. Yeah, I think there's something that happens in that movie that scarred me for sure.
I believe it.
Was it John Lithgow?
No, I love that guy.
Scared Stiff is also the name of a 1996 Elvira-themed pinball machine. That fact was just for you, Blake, and of interesting facts.
Thank you. I think I played it, actually. They used to have it at the bar across from Chantilly's. It's right by the door.
That's enough of that. Hey, Twitter responses.
Twitter responses. I wonder if Jason got some Twitter responses.
No, they're all dead. Hey, let's put 10 minutes on the clock. When's the last time we actually did that? We've never really done it, right?
I think we did it like the first couple times, and it would beep, and I would look at you like, okay, we're done. And you'd be like, no, we're not done
I
yet.
just want to go all the way. I'm a guy who wants to go all the way. Let's break down the pilot.
Let's go all the way.
Yeah.
Rosanna.
Top 10 hit, 1982.
Was that Asia?
Oh, come on.
That's Toto.
Come on, man.
Toto. I get Asia, Toto, and Boston mixed up.
It's 2 years before they did the Dune soundtrack.
Oh, there you go. Look
Which
at
is
that.
weird, but that's a whole different thing.
That was David Lynch, right?
Yeah. But yeah, a couple of the Toto guys helped out with some of the music.
Well, they are the greatest session musicians of this or maybe any generation. So,
Blake looks so mad at that.
I am because
Statement.
I knew it. There was I forget the name of like the greatest session band ever, and I know that like they did a lot of Beach Boys stuff, but I can't remember
the Wrecking
name.
Crew,
Yeah, those they were the best.
previous generation, not as good. Not as good as Toto.
Okay,
Just one man's opinion, I suppose.
Wasn't there a documentary about that?
I think there was, yeah.
The
About
Wrecking,
about Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
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 Hired Guns, I think it was called.
Oh, I think that is it.
Yeah. I remember watching that. It was good.
good job.
Yeah. Hey, good job, man. Let's see him.
Oh, yeah.
That's enough for you. Let's break down the pilot. I have a bunch of notes. You guys didn't bring it. That's fine. Your memories are your notes.
Yeah.
Feel
Even
free
though
to-
I forgot it already.
I made some notes.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys probably watched this a long time ago, so I apologize.
Oh, did you really? Is that the notepad he was rereferencing?
Oh, this here? Yeah, it's an electronic notepad. It
Nice.
also takes phone calls.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Can I see that after the show?
No.
You are rich.
I'm under NDA.
That's why you get those sardines.
Oh, yeah.
high end stuff.
Well, it's a tax write-off, but
Okay.
I said too much.
Under what? what's that under?
Really shouldn't have divulged
He
the.
works at the penguin pen at the zoo.
Yeah.
I'm a notary. All notaries have to have sardines.
Obviously.
Please feel free to chime in whenever you want
Yeah.
with this. Blake, you want to give us a start here?
Yeah, we start with some, obviously this is black and white. We start with some scary music, and then I note that, first person I see is Bob Denver.
Hold on.
Wait.
Is this black and white?
Your version was black and white?
Huh?
I'm 99% sure it was.
I think the color was kind of motherfucked,
Yeah.
but I don't think it was black and white. This is 1971.
It was a little washed out, but it wasn't
Yeah.
black and white. Are you colorblind?
It could be another
Is that
one.
another little piece of your...
Another problem
Yeah.
I have. Thanks.
Another piece of the puzzle presents itself.
All right. Anyway, so it's the beginning of the show. We see clips of the show and the actor, intro. Just like we see on a lot of stuff, is there are parts of the show, and when an actor's on it, they stop it and or even keep it going, and they just do the name card for each.
There's like a head in a drawer. Remember that? He tries to bite Gilligan. And then there's a head in like a suit of armor or something.
we shouldn't call him Gilligan. We should call him Wendell.
Bobby.
Was his name Wendell Henderson?
That sounds right.
It was Wendell and Gary.
Okay. I feel like they said the first names once. And the rest of the time they went by their last names. That's interesting. You
Weren't their
gravitate
names
to-
on the door
Yeah.
of the office?
As
Yeah.
Henderson,
Yeah.
Austin and Henderson, I think.
Yeah.
But it's interesting you gravitated towards their first names, even though they're probably only said once.
I've been doing it for 38 years during this podcast.
That's about 50 years less than
I'm a
Gilligan.
name guy.
Let's see. We get a spooky little cartoon intro. A lot of laugh tracks, even during the intro, which is interesting. It's like it's always weird to me when they're clearly not on a sound stage. It's like Scooby Doo having a laugh track. It doesn't make any sense.
Did you say it had an animated opening?
A part of it was like a little cartoon intro and like a spooky little like a little inchworm.
Like the title cards.
Yeah.
Kind of like they had kind of that Tim Burton font.
yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Did it have cartoon characters?
The whole thing was an animated cartoon.
What?
Did you not? Is this not?
Who would voice such characters? Maybe the
Gilligan?
greatest voice actor,
Bob Denver.
the greatest voice actor of all time, Billy West.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
Billy West doing Bob Denver.
You know who Billy West is too?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, I bet you. Yeah.
I ate a
Blake-
metric ton of horse shit a few episodes ago with
Blake is outnumbered.
Jason has masturbated to
well, that's
Mr.
neither here
West's
nor there,
voice.
albumin.
A lot of Honey Nut Cheerios commercials. You fire those
Hell
up
yeah.
and just
Ugh,
go
let
to
it
town.
roll.
Yeah.
Red M&M.
Yeah.
Best session voice ever. All right, and so basically these two, we find out that they're detectives, and I wrote detectives of Ghost ? Because it seemed like it was supposed to be kind of a haunting thing, so I assumed that this was going to be the supernatural that they were going to look into, but they never specified.
You're right. They get hired later, and then like
Because they get high. Because they get
Thank you.
high.
Thank you very much.
Because they get hired.
he ended strong. We got to give that to him. But it's like,
That's what she said.
all right, pressing your luck now. Hey,
No whammies, stop.
they get hired, but not based on like ghost activity. But you're right. Even the intro sets it up to where like this is
Yeah.
going to be a spooky show.
Yeah.
But they like the premise is not like, oh, we got hired for this specific case because there's like a supernatural element.
Right. And they get hired. So before they get hired, next scene is there's a mansion and there's a rich family and they're all sitting around a dining room table having dinner, and there's work friends and family friends, and the main person of this family is Mr. Come on, guys, Mr. Blake.
Oh,
Mr. Blake.
I didn't put that together.
Yeah.
Is that right? I think the family's house is the Delgado house, right? And Blake was the guy who went to jail because they thought he killed Mr. Delgado. Wasn't that right? Because Penny Blake was trying to get her dad out of jail.
I was just excited that I saw my name. So
and then you kind of just checked out from there on out.
Is that my name?
Yeah. Actually, the rest of these notes just say Blake. Blake dead. Blake dead. Blake did it.
All
Blake
work
dead.
and no Blake.
Right.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, so they're at a dinner party. They hear a scream, and we find that Martin Delgado, right? Martin Delgado was stabbed.
It might be Martin Blake, but I think it's George Delgado. Or no, maybe it is Martin. I don't know. Do you guys remember?
Not really. No, I just remember in that first scene, the dinner scene, the camera work was really weird because like I feel like they had this like small dining room and they had all those candles and stuff on the table, and they had these weird camera angles.
They were trying to make it bigger, make the room look bigger than it was.
And I was distracted by that because it was so odd for
It was kind of like they put a GoPro like on like a golden retriever and had them go around.
Yeah.
There was a shot with like Penny and her fiance Carl where it was like kind of close to them and almost like pointed down at them while they were sitting at I didn't even think about that. That is an interesting
the camera
shot.
work in that scene kind of distracted me from like everything else. And when I first started the show, you sent me the link to it, and I thought for a second, for some reason, I was thinking it was going to be Bob Newhart and not Bob Denver. And so then I was confused by that.
You just kept waiting for Bob Newhart to come on the show.
I was like, this might be all right with Bob Newhart. I don't know.
Give me the keys to my room.
Yeah. There's been a murder here.
Right, murder.
So he spends time talking on the phone and repeating everything the guy says to him on the phone.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but it's interesting you mentioned that, being distracted by the camera, because I'm distracted by almost everything else. There is so much information. There's so many people's names. It's hard, and I think maybe that's where you got confused, Blake, is who was who in that scene, because you're hearing so many names, and it gets fleshed out during the course of the program, but I don't think any of these people are reoccurring characters, so it's confusing.
I was just impressed that I saw an envelope with my name on it.
I get it.
Yeah, it did seem like there was just a bunch of like, well, this guy is his lawyer, and this guy, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't know who these people are.
Yeah.
Which happens a lot when you're doing a pilot. You're trying to get all the main characters in, for sure.
Yeah.
So we find out they're private investigators. We go back to their office, right?
Yep.
And Carl and his fiancee Penny, right?
Penny Blake, and her dad was the one that was accused of killing Mr. Delgado.
Right.
Was that the Bernie Madoff looking dude?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And
That's how I associated him.
yeah, so they're going to hire Wendell and Gary to solve this case.
Why?
Because they said their dad, Blake, didn't do it.
Well, they hired him too because they said that Henderson or Austin's uncle is the police captain who arrested Penny's father. So they thought if they hired them, they might be able to get inside information about the case to help exonerate her father.
Right. So the next scene is it's a really stormy night, and they talk about how they don't have any guns. Gary has tried to get a gun, still doesn't have a gun. That's a big thing for them. So they dress up as plumbers, and they head back to the mansion to try to get information. They pull up and they see a "Beware of Dog" sign.
Knock on the door and like, it's me, Mario.
Right.
Oh, because Mario was a okay.
You got it, buddy.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Hell
took me a
yeah.
second.
Use your words.
When they arrive there, though, instantly that lawyer comes out and he says, "Who are you guys?" And they're like, "We're plumbers." And he asks them all these questions, and the guys were not prepared at all to answer these questions.
No, this is Abbott and Costello, very bumbly, very
Kind of,
absolutely, yeah.
No preparation whatsoever. Kind of like our podcast.
A little bit like that. Well, maybe on your end, but the lawyer shoos them away, and there's a guard dog that kind of runs after him.
Do you remember the guard dog's name?
Blake?
Blake?
It's the only way he'd remember it.
No, what? Good answer, but it was Hawk. It was Hawk.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's like when Sarah Silverman named her dog Duck, right? Naming an animal a different animal than what they are.
I think
That's a good metaphor. Come on.
It's pretty good.
Sure.
What were you going to say?
I just think that we, as a society, to make things better in our society,
Right.
when we get animals, we should not be creative with their names. We should just give them regular, generic, like people names. Like there's a lady I work with, and she has 2 dogs, and it is Larry and Chuck, and I just think that's great.
Yeah.
Don't get creative. Don't do Mika or Mox or something.
Those
weird.
are your dogs' names.
Yeah. Just do. Yeah. Well. Yeah. So.
Did her dogs get gay married like that Sandler movie?
I don't think so.
No.
It's not my business.
You can be creative like my family, who lives on a farm. So a lot of their animals either run away, get eaten by other animals, or
So they just
get
don't
run
name.
over.
They don't name them at all.
You can't name them at that point.
If you survive after a year, you get a name.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So if they
There's a
get
ceremony.
Yeah.
if they get a dog, the dog is forever just known as Puppy, and if they get a cat, the cat is forever known as Kitty.
Okay.
I like it.
So they leave. They make a note that the lawyer loves cough drops here too. The two they're now
That
out.
was weird.
It was an interesting plot.
Yeah, I
point.
wrote cough drop guy.
Like, were cough drops invented in like 1970 or something? Was it still pretty
Ooh.
top of mind?
I
Is
probably
that-
should have researched that.
Do they have like real ether in them so you get high?
It's
off
possible.
Of
Yeah,
eating them?
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So they're out of their disguises. They sneak back onto the property with flashlights. Whenever they arrive, Mrs. Delgado, the widow, she like appears in the window, and she easily spots them every time that they come by. And they're nearly run over by an unmanned speeding vehicle who had a brick on the gas pedal.
Yeah. I wrote that down. I loved it.
So the guys
I mean,
kind of
it steered perfectly fine by itself.
Oh, yeah.
But
they kind of get freaked out because of that. Of course they would. They find the brick. They see someone's tried to run us over. Then they run to a basement to try to get away from Hawk the dog. I thought it was Blake. That was my mistake.
Did you think someone was sitting there and just be like, hold on, they're going to walk by real soon, throw the brick on the accelerator, and get the fuck out of there?
Well, it was very practiced. Like, they probably do that for a lot of, like, door-to-door, like, vacuum salesmen and stuff.
Right.
You know?
Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah,
brick
it'll-
car.
brick
Hey,
on the
the
power.
brick.
somebody get the brick. The Jehovah's Witness is coming down.
Well,
They're going to ask us about our Silco bill.
Gilligan takes the brick with him.
Oh yeah,
He's walking around like it's a weapon.
yeah, because they don't have any guns, right?
They go into the basement of the mansion. They find the lawyer's been stabbed, but he lives them long enough to hand the duo his tin of cough drops.
Right. And and he died there. It's in a sauna, right? That's where.
Yeah, like the steam room of the
Steam
house.
room.
Yeah.
They're locked in there, and that's and then steam starts rolling in. So they're like, "Oh my god, we get a commercial break." And then they're in there almost like starting to accept their fate. So they start like telling each other like their regrets and stuff. Like they've just completely submitted to the fact that they're going to die.
I never took that 3-hour tour.
Right.
Just then, the police captain Austin arrives with the widow of the house and her caretaker, and they free them. And we see a set of eyes behind this lion sculpture where the steam was releasing.
And also, this is the part where she faints. She faints like 7 times during this
She
pilot.
does. What is it in mansions? There's a lot of like holes for eyes to look through.
Yeah, you just drilled them in back in the day.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Yeah,
just
you
a
didn't have a
drill.
lot of home inspections back then. Like,
Concrete drill bit.
yeah.
Is this another side of the wall, or is this like inside of the wall? You can like walk freely between rooms.
I feel like it's like in Roger Rabbit, when you could look through the painting in the bar there, and you
Okay.
had this whole speakeasy room.
rich people just live a completely
Oh
different
yeah,
life.
yeah.
I do like that the police captain bursts in the room and be like, well, you two are in here. And there's a body with a knife in it.
Right.
Yeah.
You probably didn't do it.
You guys
Right,
go.
yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
go. You're good.
Yeah. Can I just say, like, whoever, like, they must have got a good deal on these, like, murder knives, because there were, like, a lot of them.
Right.
And they were all,
yeah.
like, those little, like,
Letter openers. They
Yeah.
were all like letter openers.
Right.
Fancy little daggers that look like yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
And so, the uncle who is the police chief, he comes in and he says, "You guys are off the case. Get off this case. Don't do this anymore." And Carl and Penny, next scene, are talking to him. And now they're angry all of a sudden because they got busted out or something. And Carl and Penny are like, "Hey, you only have 24 more hours. We just hired you. You bumbled it. Somebody else is dead. You got 24 more hours to get us to solve the case."
And we do see a sneaky shadow, like with a trench coat and hat, outside the office too. Here,
Suddenly it's Giallo out of nowhere.
It kind of was, yeah.
it was what?
Giallo.
What is that?
It's an Italian slasher movie from the 70s.
Come on, you didn't really know that, did you?
Oh, yeah.
Giallo.
Yeah. I mean, we did Drunken Zombie for how many years?
Oh,
8.
yeah.
Yeah, we covered Giallos all the time.
That'll be next episode. Talk about that. So during the Henderson's investigation, he finds that Carl is a singer, and has been financially backed by wealthy women. So Austin deduces that Carl killed Penny's dad, or rather Mr. Delgado, to take control of the fortune. And then Henderson keeps presenting new pieces of information, and then Austin keeps loudly and confidently declaring new thoughts and ideas of what actually happened.
I just had a bunch of evidence, comes up, and it makes them think that everybody has a motive at some point or another. And then the mystery man appears again. This is the guy that in the shadows that we saw.
Well, hold on a second. This is where they get the breakthrough here. They start to focus on the cough drops. Can you guys remember the connection they made here?
Some of the writing on it.
Do you guys remember this?
No, not really. No.
Cough drops are for coughing. Hey, hold on a second.
That's right. I forgot.
Hold on a second. Maybe the dying lawyer was telling us, because he was using these cough drops and they're for coughing, that we should check out Mr. Delgado's coffin. Maybe we should go dig up a dead man's box.
Yeah, for sure. So they go
based off of the tin of cough drops.
Yep.
That's right. I forgot that logical conclusion.
Yeah.
The logical throat lodging.
Oh boy. Whew.
Man.
Lozenge.
You're working on a different level.
It's very unlike me. I need to slow down.
Ricolo?
But you're right. The shadowy figure does follow him to the graveyard.
Yep. And so they start digging up the coffin and Mr. Delgado, and they open it up and they find out that it's a wax body. It's not really Mr. Delgado.
I like that somebody put the wax, but this'll fool him at the funeral.
Right.
I just like the fact that back in the day, all you needed was a tin of cough drops to go and just, exhume a body and dig up a casket.
Should we talk to somebody? Nah.
Is there paperwork that we need to fill out? Nah.
Does anybody need a notary to do that?
Right. No, apparently not.
I'm pretty impressed about the notary thing. My mom's a notary too, so I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah, it's it's a sacred bond. Duty.
If they met, they would just start talking notary talk, and we wouldn't understand them.
I think so.
Yeah, high level notary discussions
All
would take
ones and
place.
zeros to me.
Yeah.
So while they're in the graveyard, someone keeps throwing knives at them.
Again,
Envelope.
they got a whole box of these things.
And then they take the whole coffin back to the Delgado residence, and they move it into the house. Right into the parlor, and they get Mrs. Delgado to come down to investigate it.
And she faints again.
She sees that it's a wax body and faints because of that.
Yeah. Okay, so then they catch Penny, and I put Blake sneaking around again. It might have been just.
They look out the window. They see that shadowy figure sneaking around, and they tackle him, and it's Penny Blake. And she said, she said she launched her own investigation due to the duo's failures. She's going to try to solve this herself.
And then they're still by the coffin, and Delgado rises from the coffin, and with what Wes? What does he have?
Well, he's got a knife in him.
He's got a knife.
Yeah.
At least 10, right?
Yeah. I mean,
They must have got him at Costco.
you just go down to your local hardware store and
Okay.
98
They're
cents.
Kirkland knives.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. That's a good
They got the little barrel. You just get the scoop. And you
Yeah.
put the whole scoop into the bag.
I feel like it was probably ordered from a Montgomery Ward catalog.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Delgado comes after those guys. They hide in a closet, and the dead wax Mr. Delgado figure is in the closet. And so when he opens to stab him, they beat Mr. Delgado with Mr. Delgado.
I like it.
It's kind of funny. Penny arrives shortly after, and they explain to her the whole thing. But then the housekeeper arrives with a gun,
Inga.
and she basically says, "I've been having an affair with this guy. We faked his death. We're gonna get the money."
Yeah, there was a picture of her, and that was one of the 7 people that he said did it.
Yes.
that Gary said did it.
But it's a disguise. She's been in disguise as Inga,
Right. Yeah. She pulls off the prosthetics.
And then she's got a wig on and all this stuff.
Fake nose.
She's supposed to be homely, and then all of a sudden she takes that off, and it turns out she's super hot.
Right. Yeah.
So I keep trying to rip my wife's face off every night.
Good lord. She unfurls her whole plan too.
Sure. Oh yeah. She just gives it up right there.
Like a Bond villain.
Yeah.
Or
You'll
something.
never stop us now.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see here. So they're planning to leave tonight. They're going to go to Europe. She's going to kill all 3 of them: Austin, Henderson, and Penny. And while tending to Mr. Delgado, Austin turns on the intercom system for Mr. Delgado to hear what's happening.
It was a callback from earlier too,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Inga did that earlier.
Well, that's totally the Chekhov's gun of this episode.
Right.
If we see an intercom in the first scene, it'll have the
absolutely.
fire in the first scene.
Absolutely.
And then Captain Austin arrives with Carl. The police begrudgingly congratulate the duo, and they are chased away by the guard dog. That's the end. What do you think about that?
I think Hank did a great job on this. Hawk, not Hank.
Please
Hawk.
remain seated as we
Blake?
are now crossing a zone of turbulence.
I mean, to be honest with you, I was a sophomore in high school before I ever met another Blake. And so to see that there was a Blake 4 years before I was even born.
And still at your advanced age to see it surprises you.
Well, what surprised me is last night my marriage counselor said, "You'd be amazed at how many couples I'm seeing right now, and the husband's name's Blake."
Did you say, hey, that's I don't know that that's helpful.
And I was like,
and this converation is costing me money.
I was like, this is costing me money. Can you it's irrelevant to me.
No non sequiturs.
I'm
I was
the
just like
Blake.
a cure.
I'm the Blake.
It doesn't matter. I was here 5 times this week with different women.
Right, exactly.
They were different Blakes.
And I'm the shitty person on all 5 of those.
Oh boy. You said so. If the dog was named, would you name a dog after yourself, Blake?
No. I've had enough of them. I wouldn't do that.
Wes, do you have any children?
No.
If you had a little
Not
boy,
that I know of.
That's
Nice.
albumin. Would you name a boy? If you had a boy, would you name it Wes Jr.?
No.
Yeah,
I don't want to be that person. And then you have the 3rd and the 4th and the Esquire and whatever else.
After the 4th, the 5th one is Esquire.
It's something like that. Or
Really?
maybe, I don't know.
Like what? Bill and Ted is.
I think
Yeah.
it's something like
Interesting.
that. So, yeah.
I never knew that. Learned something new from Wes.
I knew about Skip and Trip. You guys know about those, right?
No.
Like if like George is the grandfather,
I've heard that.
and then
yeah.
the grandson is this has the same name, but the father didn't in the middle, then that's Skip because it skipped a generation.
Yeah, I found that out recently, actually. Yeah.
Or
It's
if you're the
weird.
third, sometimes they call you Trip because like triple third.
Gotcha.
I just thought it was because they stumbled a lot.
That's true. Bad equilibrium.
Right,
family.
yeah.
Drink too much.
Yeah, if, born with the spins or something.
The spins.
Yeah.
Hey, this show didn't work. And probably a lot of reasons why. Brian, why don't you think Scared Stiff worked?
Honestly, I have no idea. It seems just as good as about anything else that was on the air at the time. I mean, they had a whole show built around chimps being detectives.
What was that called? Chimp Detective?
It was Lancelot Link, Secret Chimp.
Oh.
So
Was that the same time frame?
had to
around there?
roughly been
Yeah.
late 60s, early 70s.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, this seems just as plausible being on the air as any of that other stuff.
Was it one of those shows where they'd stick their thumbs in the chimp's ass so its mouth would move?
Probably.
Okay.
I would have loved to have that job.
I was going to say.
See Blake walking around sniffing his thumb later.
What would your title be? Chimp Thumber?
Chimp Fluffer? I don't know.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
What would you do to improve Scared Stiff, Wes?
Here's the thing. Watching this, it was weird because tonally it's such an odd thing. But this first episode is so exposition heavy and dumps so much stuff that I would cut a lot of that, honestly, because like you said, they focus so much on all these characters that are probably never going to appear again.
Right.
But at the same time, like I was looking at it thinking, okay, how could you sustain a show like this through multiple episodes with different capers and different things like that? Wow. You'd have to trim a lot of the fat off. And I don't know what that would look like. But when I was watching this show, like I kept comparing it to House on Haunted Hill, Vincent Price. Because it seems like they wanted to make like a comedic version of like a murder mystery thing, but it just wasn't quite there.
So exposition heavy, maybe focus on the duo's origin story and just do like a small case in there or something?
I think it needs to be, because like the dynamic between Bob Denver and
Warren Berlinger.
I want to call him Otho because he
can.
reminded me of Otho from Beetlejuice.
You can do that.
There just wasn't enough developed there for them to be like, they're obviously supposed to be the Abbott Costello
Sure.
of this, but it just wasn't quite. It was taken out of the oven too soon.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense. So I don't know what I do with
I
it.
feel like if they would have focused more on the supernatural aspect of it, like they promised, sort of in the intro.
most-
Because
Yeah.
it didn't have anything to do with ghosts at the
Yeah,
end
yeah.
of it.
The intro, Scared Stiff, it's kind of a spooky title.
Sure.
The only remotely supernatural elements do happen only in the intro.
Yeah.
I think that you're right. I think that is a major failing
Yeah.
of
I
the
mean,
pilot.
Scooby Doo was popular then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you do like a live action,
Yeah.
no trained animals other than Hawk, apparently.
Yeah.
Or like a Great Dane eating a 2-foot sandwich.
Yeah, always good.
Remember when he
just saw that the other-
shuffle the meat like a deck of cards?
I saw that the other day. I saw a Great Dane the other day eat a 2-foot sandwich on the counter.
Yeah, that's cool, right?
That's my sandwich.
He doesn't care. He loves it.
I said, fuck it. I'll starve.
Well-
I'll have 2 more beers instead.
But like if this continues, are they just solving cases every week?
Yeah, they're bumbling through cases. They're never going to get. They're never going to get a gun because one of the things.
A true American television show.
Never get a gun.
The quest for a
but,
gun.
But the whole thing with the police captain it's going to keep going. They're going to have a different case every week, and yeah.
But nobody was really scared stiff. Like you would think one of the main characters should be afraid of whatever they're.
I think
a little weird.
Wendell was the more scared of the two.
Okay.
I think he was,
Yeah.
So you need a scaredy cat in there, one who's literally shaking.
Yeah, kind of like how, if you're going to have, like, in a comedy duo, you're going to have, like, the straight man and the wacky guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need, like, the seasoned professional, and you need the guy that's scared of what they're investigating.
Something we didn't mention in the intro, they both look at certificates in the beginning, and Bob Denver looks at a certificate and it says, hey, I'm a real smart guy, I'm a high IQ. And then Warren looks at a paper and says, I flunked out of the police academy. So I think Warren would be the guy, probably, who's kind of the bumbling.
But he was kind of confident in the episode,
But I think idiots sometimes are pretty confident.
Maybe that's it. Yeah. I thought it was nice that the police academy would send you a certificate saying that you flunked.
They didn't.
Right,
They
that's
absolutely
nice.
didn't have to do that.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It could have been just a nice notarized letter.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Anyway,
So you're saying we needed the scene of someone going ghost?
I
Kinda.
wouldn't mind at all. I'd probably give it a good ghost bump.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we start our descent, please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position.
We're not the only ones who've seen Scared Stiff. It's out there on the internet, not just reserved for us. Other people can watch it, and other people have, and other people have rated it, but not on Rotten Tomatoes and definitely not on IMDb, which is too bad because I think IMDb only asks 5 people to do it,
Right.
and no one can muster
And there's
up.
4 of us in the room.
4 of us plus Bob Denver.
Oh, God. 85 years as Gilligan. Unbelievable. Hey, here's some viewer reviews. Nice to see Bob Denver play a genius for once. Ultra rare. Bob Denver never even mentioned this. Do they know Bob?
I don't know. I had lunch with him yesterday. He never brought this up.
Didn't say shit about it. Hey, and Felipe Fourcroy is Carl. Love him. He was a. I read an article about him being in the show. He's like a teen heartthrob, the fiance guy. He was
like the singer.
He was like
Yeah.
he was set to be like the next David Cassidy or like Leif Garrett, but it never really took off for him. But he had a window of like Tiger Beat fame around this time. Anyway,
Okay. You still got that subscription?
none of your
Cancel
business,
it?
Wes. I just met you.
Oh. Well, you told me you were going to loan me a couple of those. so-
Yeah, all right. Just on the down low.
With Menudo on the front of the cover.
Mark this to edit out. All right, we don't need this discussion.
And
Great point, guys. Hey, I'm shocked it didn't get picked up. Wow, who wrote this? Question: why would you need a bolt lock on the outside of the steam room door? Hey, that's a good question.
That's a good question. This is the murder lock.
Yeah.
Interesting that Denver got yet another series after The Good Guys. Paul Reed as Captain Foster Austin, so someone just a champion of Paul Reed. Hey, wow, this really isn't bad. There was certainly, holy shit, you're not gonna believe this, Brian.
Yeah.
There's certainly worse shows that made it on there. I mean, one of the shows CBS didn't pass on that year was Me and the Chimp.
Oh, see?
that's awesome.
That was the
I
thing.
knew.
Me and the Chimp, and then there. What'd you say, Mr. Linkletter?
Lancelot Link, Secret Chimp.
2 chimp shows.
Wait, when did the Clint Eastwood chimp movie come out? Was that 70s?
It was like 81, I
Oh,
would
that was
say.
81. Okay, so that was at the end
Was
of
he
the
a
chimp
truck
craze.
driver?
I think so, yeah.
Every which way but loose.
Yeah. Okay.
Man,
And, like, again, 20 years before, like, Most Valuable Primate.
78.
Okay.
that's the one with Matt LeBlanc, right?
I think so, yeah.
That was like, maybe not the height, but like during Friends, right?
Maybe?
Yeah.
It was after Air Bud, I know that.
It was
around that
the
time
first
frame.
movie he did when he became Friends Rich.
Ah, yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
hey, this looks good.
There's also an MVP 2, but I think that was direct to video. And I haven't seen
That
it.
was Schwimmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lancelot Link, Secret
2018.
Chimp
Yeah.
came out a year before this. So.
Interesting. Secret Chimp. All right, there's some other reviews. I'm not going to get into it. Let's see here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to FCF Airport. Local time is 11:11 and the temperature is 69 degrees. For your
Nice.
safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seat.
I wrote that part of the show.
This is his voice, too.
Nice.
Just put a pair of bobby socks on me and a girl's panties. I'm
Get him a couple eggs. He's good to
I'm
go.
there.
Lancelot Link was actually sort of like a Get Smart type show,
I got you.
but with chimps.
And Don Adams.
He did the voice. Yeah. Yep.
It wasn't Mr. West who did it?
Well, he was like probably 2 at the time, so probably not.
You talking about Billy West?
Yeah.
All right, hey, this is the part of the show where we grade the program we watched. We have done more work than anyone else.
You have.
Yeah. And now it's time to take all that information, internalize it, and then regurgitate a number based on our scoring system. Will you go over the scoring system, Blake?
Sure, the scoring system is based off of the television show Wings. Wes, do you remember Wings, the television show?
Barely.
Really?
Yeah.
It is alarming how few people are aware
Which
of
is
Wings.
crazy.
I
to
remember
me.
it being on, but I never really watched it.
You
know?
all the references you've made about pointless stuff tonight, you need to watch Wings.
It has Crystal Bernard in it, star of Sleepover Massacre 2.
Huh?
Have you seen that movie?
Don't think I have.
What? You've seen that, right?
Sleepover Massacre.
Slumber Party Massacre.
Oh, Slumber
Slumber
Party.
Party.
I saw Slumber Party Massacre 1. I did see that. I saw it in Watertown, Wisconsin.
Hell yeah.
Why specifically there?
Because I have another friend that I used to podcast with, and
Yeah.
he was super into horror movies.
Yeah.
And we were just hanging out one time. He's like, "Oh, you guys will watch this," and yeah. So
Sounds like me and him should be friends, not me and you.
okay, I'll get you his digits.
Okay, cool.
Based off
He's in
of
your
the
phone as New Blake.
Hawk.
old phone, new Blake.
Yeah.
Based off of the characters from Wings, it's a 1 through 7. 1 being the worst, that's a Roy Biggins. 7 being the best, that's a Brian Hackett.
Wes, as our first-time guest here today, we turn to you. How do you rate Scared Stiff?
Oh, man, you're putting me on the spot here. I'm going to give it a 3, honestly.
Yeah.
It was okay. I would have trimmed a lot of stuff. I don't know if I would have picked it up if I was going to make that decision, but it wasn't the worst thing I ever saw. It wasn't the greatest thing.
Yeah, that's fair. Brian, we turn towards you. How do you rate Scared Stiff?
I was also going to go for a 3. Because again, it's fixable. You just need a different story. I feel like the characters and the structure and everything else work. You just needed sort of what they promised in the intro, and we didn't get that.
You're right. There was a false promise here.
Right? Mm-hmm. Also, I found out Billy West was 19 when Lancelot Link came out, so he could have voiced the
He's
ship.
old. He's probably in his mid-late 60s right now.
He was born in 52.
There you go. Oh, so he's in his 70s. Captain Philip, rest assured, we turn towards you. How do you rate Scared Stiff?
I always enjoy when we have a first timer on because they look at a pilot way different than someone who has done 38 years of it.
400 episodes?
Almost 400. Brian, you've been on the show many times, and I respect your critiques of film and television.
No, you
Because
don't.
Yeah, I know, I do. I do.
What he meant to say is he's aware of them.
Gotcha. I know he does it every now and then, but that's about it.
This was not the worst thing I've seen from the 70s. Bob Denver and what's their guy's name?
Warren Berlinger.
Great
Rolls
duo.
off the tongue.
Great duo. Better than the skipper and Gilligan, in my opinion.
Professor Anne Marianne
Well, no, just, yeah.
and all the rest.
Yeah.
No.
But I enjoyed it. Yes, there were a lot of holes. Was it a ghost? Not, or, you know, what? But I will give it, I'm going to give it a 5. I enjoyed it. I know.
Wow.
I completely agree with what you guys are saying about the holes, but I've also watched a lot of bullshit. And I did not look at the timer one time.
Oh,
That's an automatic bump rate.
I was going to say, that speaks a lot for you.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't pick
I'm a
up my
timer.
phone when I was watching this. I mean, I was watching it. So
Yeah, I watched it from my phone too, in my high end.
Now, I do pause the shows a lot because I'm taking a lot of notes.
Sure.
But I was never looking at like, oh, God, how much time is left?
Yeah.
I'm
You're
gonna
not
get-
picking up your phone and doing something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the modern equivalent of that. I didn't hate this. I think, Brian, you're right. This could have gone forward. There's a lot other weird shit and worse stuff on TV at the time. The promise of supernatural was not fulfilled in this first episode. And
Yeah.
if that's going to be what the show's about, then God damn it, put it in the first episode, especially if that's all you're going to get.
Yeah.
The acting was fine. Bob Denver's fun. I would have liked to not see him at 85 being, dragged out to a car show as Gilligan. Like, he had other stuff in the tank,
Sure.
I think, right?
He was on Roseanne once as Gilligan.
Yeah, was it like a dream episode or something?
Mm.
Good Lord.
You know?
The cast of Roseanne played the Gilligan characters, and then
That's right, because it was her sister, I think, right? That
Yeah.
was
Jackie was playing Gilligan.
yeah.
And then for the
She's so good. God damn it.
for the credit scene, they had all the Gilligan actors come in and play the Roseanne characters, which made it hilarious.
And I think that probably that season 2, Ernest Jim Varney was
That's right.
in a few episodes. That's
right.
So there you go. A little tie-in there. Hey, I'm going to give this a 4. I wish there would have been some more Supernatural. It was fine. It was fine. It wasn't garbage, but it wasn't great either. And with the scores of a 3 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5, we shall close the book on Scared Stiff, and we will never mention that show again.
Yeah.
But join us next time, won't you please, when we watch the pilot episode of Oddball. Here's a little something to wet your whistle. An attempted revamp of the short-lived 1964 Goodson-Todman game show Get the Message, which was like a different version of Password mixed in with Match Game. You can find the entire episode of Oddball by subscribing to Couch Pilots and SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then simply click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes, or go to YouTube, Brian.
You know what to do, too.
Thank you very much for that. As we wind down here, I do want to say thank you to both of you guys for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me on.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Was it enjoyable at all? You don't have to lie.
It was awful. It was terrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
We
honestly-
appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I'd rather get a colonoscopy.
Gross. Oddly enough, I think Blake can help with that.
How can I help with that?
I thought that was the fluid I was supposed to drink.
I was
but
going to say,
it
I don't
the
have
piss
any
jug.
barium, right? It's like barium?
I'm trying to beef up your resume for when you just stick your thumb in that chimp's asshole.
He asked for it.
Hey, go to Facebook and Twitter. Follow us there. You can find out who we're talking to and what shows are coming down the pike. I don't think the word pike has been canceled yet. I can still say that, right?
Yeah. Most of you are talking about a peak.
Is it pike or pipe?
I thought it was going down the pike.
I thought it was like a pipe, like
Like
you
a
know,
colonoscopy?
yeah.
You might be right.
Yeah.
So you can see what we got coming down the colonoscopy. Go to couchpilotspodcast.com. It's a real website that we own digital real estate, essentially, is what it is. And all of our past episodes are there. Let's see, what else is going on? Oh, I do want to ask you guys. I know, Brian, you're doing like 3 podcasts now. What do you, me?
Jesus Christ, right?
So you got Challenge, which is still going,
Challenge is still going. We just wrapped up a season. Next season starts next week.
about MTV's reality show, The Challenge.
Yep.
And then you still do Midnight Drive-In.
Midnight Drive-In.
And you're still watching 2 movies per episode of that show.
Yeah.
Blake, you think you got it rough. He's watching 2 full movies every time they do one episode of this show.
No. No, thank you.
You don't want to watch Blue Steel with Jamie Lee Curtis?
Ooh. Is that the first movie she was naked in?
No. Those Trading Places.
Okay, it was Straight Place. Okay.
What's that one where she's in a train?
Terror Train.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Got train in the title.
Yeah.
Talk about a train. I don't know. A train is
Gross. And then when you have a new one that you just started doing, too.
Jesus Christ. So my friend Desmond reached out. He's like, who loves Nicolas Cage? And I said, Nicolas Cage is a motherfucking national treasure. And he's like, well, I live in Canada, so that's not really fair. I'm like, he's the world treasure.
Whoa.
He belongs to the world. And he pitched me, like, we should do a Nicolas Cage podcast called Cage Dive.
Sounds awesome.
And I was like, all right. He's like, we're going to watch every Nicolas Cage movie from the beginning.
Oh, wow. When they're going to start getting into wives, because I want to come on for those. Like
Wives?
The wives he's had.
Oh, I mean, you can come on anytime. I don't think we're getting into the wives.
Oh, well, I'll get into it.
One of them just died.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the newest one is
I'll give you a
like,
tin of cough drops to go fucking dig her corpse.
right? 13.
Go fuck her wax corpse.
Yeah. So our first episode is actually something you've covered on the show before.
Oh, what's that now?
The best of times.
Oh, you did bring that up recently. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I do remember that because like the name was changed because it was his dad that directed it or something.
Well, he's at Coppola, which is
Right, yeah.
I think he was trying to steer away from being a nepo baby.
I remember the beach. I remember
Yeah.
the weights or the basketball court or something. Yeah.
Yep.
A young Crispin.
So you're gonna
Glover
watch
was in
that?
I've watched it already. We've already done our first episode.
Oh, you should have called us to do that.
Yeah, what's wrong with it?
Sorry, I didn't set the podcast up.
I think
if-
after he did, he contacted me and said, "Have you heard about this?" I said, "Man, we did it a couple of years ago."
Nice, nice.
So Wes, it's a weird, like, you can't do that on television type of show.
But
Yeah.
like cranked up to like teenage, like teenage
Yeah.
themes versus you can't do that. It was kind of a mellow.
It's
Yeah.
well, it's also sort of that was sort of a weird show. This has a
Yes.
lot of the weirdness taken out.
Yeah.
Although somehow has Crispin Glover in it, and it's not weird. So I
A
don't
young
understand
Crispin
that.
Glover, right?
Yeah.
His very first
Yeah.
thing he did.
Probably like 17 in it
Yeah.
or something.
First thing he did, and then first thing Nicolas Coppola
Right.
did.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
Jill Schoelen, who was in Popcorn,
Okay.
and the stepfather.
Sounds awesome.
That'll be is that available now or not?
He sent me it today. By the time this goes up, it will probably be available.
Awesome.
I don't know where. Head over to Dread Media. That's the stuff Desmond does. So it'll probably be available somewhere through there.
Interesting. I will check that out for sure. Wes, Graveyard Duck in the rear view. We're going to talk about next episode. Your time with Drunken Zombie. Are you doing anything right now creative for yourself? Do you have? I know you're talking about future plans, possibly with a new version of Graveyard Duck. But what do you have, if anything, in the hopper coming down the pipe?
Really, like a whole lot of nothing right now because the problem is I'm just kind of lazy. I have a lot of good ideas, but not a lot of good exexecution. So
I am looking at Wes right now, and I'm like, we are bros. Like,
you know,
You guys should play the mirror game.
yeah. Because I'm like the same.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's like, I get to it sometime.
I've got 7 ideas per podcast. And I
Right.
was like,
Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely going to do something because, to be honest, like I've missed doing this kind of stuff and it's been too long. So yeah, there'll probably be some stuff in the future. What it is, I have no idea.
Well, I look forward to
maybe
it.
we sparked the fire.
You might have.
Maybe so.
When are you and your wife doing a podcast?
Oh God.
Because I hear that's great for marriages. That's what I did.
Well, I mean, we had a perfect idea pre-pandemic when we were still hanging out with Dave, because Dave is a huge Star Trek fan, and Shanna is a pretty casual but somewhat hardcore Star Trek fan for TNG. And so, like, it was going to be the She's Not Ready for Dave podcast, where Dave would, explain, like, the particulars of something, and she would just, shake her head and whatever. So,
Well, we had an idea for a really good podcast, but then I had to get divorced, so it's probably not going to happen now. Called Titty Tuesday. Where we just watch all those old, like, bikini car wash
Yeah.
type
wow.
movies.
yeah.
Blake's paying attention more than I've seen him paying attention in a long
I was
time.
like, that.
Yeah.
Was it
Brent said titties. I'm in.
Right.
Shannon, didn't you guys watch, like, one of those? And she's like, this is so ridiculous.
Well, we watched Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
That's what it was.
Yeah, because we somehow, like, she got into, like, because I watch Red Letter Media and Best of the Worst, stuff like that, and so she kind of got into that because she's like, this kind of reminds me of old Drunken Zombie stuff. I'm like, yeah, and so I was like, well, why don't we watch a couple of these, and so we watched Deadly Prey, we watched Hard Ticket to Hawaii, and it's like, yeah, I mean, it would have been a perfect idea.
Hard Ticket to Hawaii is right up Blake's alley.
It's
I've already
got
wrote
some good scenes.
I've already wrote it down.
There's lots of nudity.
Oh,
A poisonous snake.
ooh.
Some
That's
guy
for me.
blows up a skateboarder with a rocket launcher.
The blow up doll.
Oh, the blow up doll.
Oh,
Yeah.
blow up doll.
Yeah.
That's even better.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's-
I'm down.
It's just super good.
Oh boy. We're nearing the end of this season. I think this is the last episode of this season, right?
This is 8.
Oh, this is 8. Okay. What is the bit of information you have about this year's CouchCon?
Yeah.
that's
So
coming up?
again, CouchCon going on. Each episode, I've announced something regarding it. I just want to put on this one that we will be doing a live Q&A session with all of your favorite Couch Pilots favorites, including DSJ, Eli the Baggage Boy, and many, many more. So if you got questions, go ahead and get them submitted now, because we are going to do a live Q&A.
There'll be a priority list for VIP members, right?
For sure, yeah.
You're going to do a live episode of Utopia?
That's not on my list. There's 2 more things left on my list, and that's not one of them.
Did I give away the secret? Sorry.
I thought this is Blake's operation. I don't know.
It's not on here. It's not on
It's
here.
not on there. I'm sorry.
So
All right. Well, thank you everyone again.
get
for
those
being
tickets
here.
now. Ticketmaster.com.
Get your tickets for CouchCon. It's this October. We're having a hell of a time. And I will say that this pilot may have been rough, but it's always a smooth flight here on Couch Pilots. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Love you.